Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. I'm Christine. I'm glad you're here. Welcome to another corporate video, the people behind the scams. This time it is a video about Amway, kind of the mothership of scams in my opinion. And thank you for all of your feedback on YouTube where I ask what types of videos you would like to see next. And I'm filming this currently because I'm also excited about Amway. Well, not Amway itself, but talking about Amway, and I learned a lot. I'm filming this on Easter Sunday, so I hope you had a wonderful Easter time, Easter holidays, if you celebrated. If you don't celebrate Easter, I hope you had a wonderful time. And if I sound a little bit weird or if I look a little bit off, it is because, number one, it is time change today, and that always throws me off because it is already noon, but it's not. It's actually 11. Anyway, time change is not for me. It will take a while for me to adjust to the new time. And then I would like to say I'm recovering from a cold, but I'm just still in the thick of this. So if I sound a little bit nasally, it's because I have a cold. And if I have a red nose at the end of the video, it might be because I'm actually Rudolph or because I'm just sneezing a lot and I'm coughing a lot and I have to blow my nose a lot. So that was a long intro, a long way to say, I hope you had wonderful Easter holidays. I have a cold and I'm filming an Amway video. But let's get started with the actual video. Last year, I started a series where I started to take a look at the founders and the presidents and the CEOs, the people behind the corporate side of the multi-level marketing company, and a lot of you thought this was a great idea and you wanted me to continue that series, which I happily do. But let's take a look at what I would call Amway, a legacy of scammers, because now on YouTube specifically, the company is very, very keen to promote their third generation. They proudly promote themselves on YouTube as a company that is in family hands by the founders, now is being reigned by the second generation, and they're also already introducing the world to the third generation in Amway. You might have heard of the families De Vos and Van Andel. They're best known as the founders of one of the first mega MLMs, Amway, short for American Way, besides Mary Kay and Avon, one of the OG multi-level marketing companies. Amway was founded in 1959 by Jay Van Andel and Richard De Vos and is based in Michigan. Amway and its sister companies under Alticore reported sales of $8.9 billion in 2019, and it is the largest multi-level marketing company in the world by revenue. It conducts business through a number of affiliate companies in more than 100 countries and territories. Jay Van Andel and Richard De Vos were friends in school and business partners in various endeavors, including non-MLM businesses, and in 1949 they signed up to become distributors in the Nutrilite Products Corporation. Nutrilite offered commissions on sales of supplements made by new distributors introduced to the company by the already existing distributors, a system known as a multi-level marketing or a network marketing system. By 1958, the two were the top distributors of Nutrilite, and however, in 1959, they and some of the top distributors formed the American Way Association, or Amway. Their first product was called Frisk, an organic cleaner, and the two bought the rights to manufacture and distribute Frisk and later changed the name to LOC, Liquid Organic Cleaner. They formed the Amway Sales Corporation to procure and inventory products and to handle sales and marketing plans, and the Amway Service Corporation to handle insurance and other benefits for distributors. In 1960, they purchased a 50% share in Atco Manufacturing Company in Detroit, the original manufacturers of LOC, and changed its name to Amway Manufacturing Corporation. In 1964, the Amway Sales Corporation, Amway Services Corporation, and Amway Manufacturing Corporation merged to form the Amway Corporation. Amway bought a controlling interest in Nutrilite in 1972 and full ownership in 1994. With the Amway business based in the United States, they also started to expand in the 1970s to Australia in 1971, to Europe in 1973, to Asia in 1974, to Japan in 1979, then to LATAM, to Thailand, to China, to Africa, to India and Scandinavia, to Ukraine and Russia, and to Vietnam. Most MLMs start with a small product range and then they expand that product range, and they have a lot at some point because they need to keep their customers and also their distributors interested. And Amway really has taken this to another level because they have a huge amount of products and also different brands under the Amway umbrella, like air fresheners, nutrition, beauty products, and home products. According to Amway's own website, the two founders had a vision to help others become entrepreneurs and build a business of their own and help others succeed. Amway has become the #1 direct selling company in the world, built on the belief that business ownership improves lives through personal achievement and the opportunity to earn income. The heritage of Amway includes a rich history of entrepreneurship and helping others succeed. Amway advertises that you can join the company with a low cost and also with low risk to participate in the business opportunity, which might sound good, but if you've ever taken a look at any documentation from the FTC, those are actually red flags, and those are actually warning signs that make it sound so easy to become a business owner and an entrepreneur and to be successful in MLMs. Just saying low cost, low risk might already be a red flag. Starting a business with Amway, according to Amway themselves, is very straightforward. The Amway business concept is simple, and as an independent business owner, you will enjoy Amway's high-quality products in your life. So you purchase them yourself, you promote them to others, and then you can build relationships with people to help them start their own business. That is how Amway describes the business opportunity themselves. How are distributors able to make money in Amway? According to Amway, the distributors, who are called independent business owners, IBOs, they sell products. We have a retail price for each product that is 20% higher for your registered customers than the price for an Amway business owner. The difference between ABO price and retail price is the first part of your earnings, your base discount. So you can sell to customers, receive a small commission, and then the rest pretty much shows that it's about, might be a surprise to you, but it's about recruiting. The better your business performs, the more rewards you earn. We offer incentives for key achievements, such as extraordinary growth or helping others to succeed. Rewards range from exclusive business trips around the world to one-off cash payments. And then third, you can also earn bonuses. Each performance points on your product sold as your business grows earns points from products sold by other business owners you sponsor. The bigger the team, the bigger the bonus. Amway's words, not mine. And that just shows that it is heavily incentivized also in Amway, as it is for most, if not for all MLMs, to build a big team, to be able to profit off of your team's work, and not just to sell the amazing products. The startup cost for Amway distributors is less than $100 annually in every country where Amway operates, and that in itself, I would say, doesn't sound too horrible. That's why it sounds so easy also to join Amway, but you have to expect more costs that will come your way. Number one, you will have to buy and show the products if you want to show people the business opportunity, but also the products that are an entryway into this business. You have to join conventions, and you also have to participate in AMOs. Those are Amway Motivational Organizations for a fee. AMO, Amway Motivational Organizations. Sounds culty? Yes, because it is. Let's take a look at some more factual information first, like the income disclosure statement from Amway from 2022, because that one shows a different, let's say, less entrepreneurial and less inspirational picture than the company and the founders of the company want to show us. You pay $76 annually to join Amway, or you have to pay a renewal fee. Your initial cost of registration is refundable within 90 days if you decide to cancel your registration. There are Amway licensed independent training organizations known as approved providers who may offer you value-added training and support in addition to what Amway offers. You can choose to take part in this training, but you aren't required to. So let's stay tuned for the MAOs who are also being mentioned in the income disclosure statement from Amway in 2022. The average income for all US independent business owners, those are the distributors, they're not business owners, at the founder's platinum level and below is $852 before expenses. For entrepreneurs, independent business owners, what legitimate business can survive if most of the people are able to make $852? Not that many. 32% of US registered distributors had no reported sales, did not sponsor another IBO, and did not earn any compensation. That means that those are people that were either not able to sell any products, or they were not able to recruit anybody, or those are people that wanted the products for a little less. Those are the so-called kidnappers. If you join a multi-level marketing companies, it's also part of the sales pitch. If you like the products, you can join. And that's when you can get those at a discounted price. So 32% of people in Amway in 2022 in the US weren't able to make commission at all. No sales, no sponsorships. 62% of US registered distributors received a payment from Amway in at least 1 month for sales that occurred during 2022. The top 50% of the distributors on average made $3,452 in the entire year of 2022 and a median income of $679. The top 50% of the distributors, though, those are the top 50% in the company of entrepreneurs. And I'm asking the question again, what business, legitimate business that is based on sales, on great products, is able to survive with $3,400 or $679. More red flags, a lot more red flags in my book. If you pay the fee to join, you have to pay $76. Then very likely you will have to buy at least some products to show them and to promote them. You will very likely also have to buy new releases or new brands if they're coming out. You will also very likely be expected to restock your products, go to trainings, go to convention. And with those numbers in mind, 3,400 or 679 for the top 50% in the company, most of those people will very likely already lose money. We're not even talking about the other 50% that were able to make some sort of commission, but that are making a lot less than that. The income disclosure statements are always super important, I would say. If anybody's ever interested in joining an MLM, if the multi-level marketing company has such a statement available, take a look at them. The IBOs, so the distributors, independent business owner is a term coined by Amway. That's how they call their distributors. That's it. That is one of the terms that are very prominent on Amway's documentation, but also AMO, Amway Motivational Organizations. These are organizations that are separate from Amway, but they're partnered with Amway to help the distributors grow their businesses through training, education. They're typically run by Amway distributors at the higher ranks, platinum and above. And Amway members, they have to pay to get access to those and to those apparently so super important trainings from the top people in Amway. The fees for those AMOs, they can differ from MAO to MAO, but to have access to them, to the mentorship, to be on inspirational calls, to be on motivational calls, to get education, to be a part of their conferences, of the virtual conferences during the pandemic, for example, you have to have access to the tools they provide, to the apps, for example, where the distributors predominantly communicate, and you have to pay, otherwise you won't get access to these. Do you also remember the statement in Amway's income disclosure statement? Approved providers who may offer you value, added training and support in addition to what Amway offers. You can choose to take part in this training, but you aren't required to. But you are actually required to pay if you want to participate in this training, and they're highly, highly, highly incentivized because you're able to listen to the top people in Amway, but you need to pay a small fee. I will link a video down below from somebody who was in Amway and who was also a member of LTD, and she walked the audience through the finances, how pricey it is. $99 per month, that is a lot of money. And also what those trainings really are about, and that they're really not optional, and they're also not for free. And if you have time, you can also go through the comment section, because I think that that person's video did inspire a lot of other former Amway distributors to also share their experience in the comments. And a lot of them said, yes, you spent a lot of money and you're expected to join those really, really culty organizations, but you don't get a lot in return. Those AMOs are being run by the top people in Amway, and it is a way for them to make a lot of money. Many, many times more money by running those companies that they're heading, rather than them actually making great sales in Amway. So it is a very lucrative side business that is very, very specific to Amway. But we also see this across MLMs, that now the top distributors, they will require their downline to pay so that they have access for their training, or they will offer online courses, and they will venture into coaching as well. I found that video really, really interesting. And if you're interested in this as well, I would encourage you to take a look. It is from a former LTD member, C.H. Singleton. And she also said that these organizations are very smart because they keep Amway distributors busy. There is a lot of noise, there is a lot of fluff, you have a lot of trainings that don't hold a lot of value, but they're very emotional, they're very inspirational. I always call it fluff because there's so much flying through the air that you don't have time to catch your breath. And in this way, you not only pay Amway to be a distributor, to possibly be able to get commission if you are able to sell a product here or there, but you pay a lot of money to the top people in Amway on those courses that should be available for free if you join their downline via the AMOs alone to receive training. I will also link an article down below where somebody very thoroughly listed 20 of those AMOs, also by name. So if somebody approaches you, you might have heard of this name before. Those are AMOs that are connected to Amway. In the article linked down below, the author was able to identify at least 20 AMOs. There are likely more than that, and also the names will be mentioned there as well, which I find very important, because many times potential recruits, and that's also what the person said in the video that I will link down below, and also the people in the comment section supported, many times potential recruits, they will be approached by members of those AMOs, and they don't even understand that they're connected to Amway. But in the end, those are top distributors or people who receive training from top distributors in those companies. And if you ever hear any of these names of these MAOs, I would say run. Run for the hills if somebody tries to reach out to you, because that means somebody tries to recruit you into Amway. So run for the hills. Not for the hills that have eyes, part 1 or 2, because that would be a very bloody and horrible death. But you know what I'm getting. If you ever run across these, I find it really interesting to take a look. These are companies that are connected to Amway. I will venture back into the people behind Amway and also the second and the third generation that are currently running the company in a bit. But let's talk about something very important, because I also think that these videos are kind of mini deep dives. Let's talk about the 1979 Amway ruling, Amway versus FTC, and other lawsuits first. In the 1970s, the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission in the United States, accused Amway of operating as a pyramid scheme. After 4 years, the trial ended, and in 1979, Robert Pitofsky, acting as an administrative law judge for the FTC, ruled that Amway was not a pyramid scheme. The ruling assumed Amway's compliance with certain retail rules to assure that the products were sold to the public and not just stockpiled. These rules were never significantly enforced, but ever since, MLM promoters cite the Amway precedent as justification for their programs. The FTC, for example, stated that, in this case, Amway was not an illegal pyramid scheme, since the Amway system is based on retail sales to customers. Amway avoided being fined as a pyramid scheme by, number 1, not requiring an entry or a headhunting fee, making product sales a precondition to receiving the performance bonus, requiring the buyback of excessive inventory, and requiring that products be sold to retail customers. It is a pity that back then Amway wasn't fined as a pyramid scheme, because that gave a legal legitimacy to a lot of other MLMs to operate in the way they operate to this very day. I would argue if they lost that lawsuit, then the multi-level marketing, the networking marketing environment would look completely different. But let's just say there are also accusations of potential nepotism. I don't know, I wasn't a part of that lawsuit back then, but it looks like the families in Amway and Amway as a corporate entity is very well connected politically, and that might not be horribly bad for such a lawsuit. Other lawsuits and class action lawsuits against Amway were settled by Amway, paying settlements with millions of dollars, or losing lawsuits like, for example, one against Procter & Gamble, antitrust laws, and class action lawsuits with former distributors over Amway allegedly operating like a pyramid scheme because Amway emphasized training materials versus products and actual product sales, making money from recruits in a business model that meets the definition of a pyramid scheme. Surprise. Amway agreed to a settlement of $56 million that included $34 million in cash compensation and $22 million in products. They admitted no wrongdoing and argued that the allegations were untrue. Amway also agreed to enhance its IBO training structure, that's the training structure for their distributors, invest more in education programs, and offer a money-back guarantee on training materials and products. Amway still to this very day is operating as a multi-level marketing company in the United States and also internationally, and was not found guilty in court for operating as a pyramid scheme, either because this was done legally correctly, or maybe because the connections of the DeVos and the Van Andel family in national politics and the national economy is very helpful. That is just my theory, of course, but I would say that at least not every wonderful individual and great entrepreneur had the honor of a former president speaking at their funeral.
I am really grateful for this opportunity to commemorate the life of an extraordinary American and a friend, Rich DeVos. Rich befriended many presidents over the years, and one I know quite well. You call him 41, I call him Dad, since his love to the DeVos family. As does Laura. Sadly, she can't be here today, but she wanted me to make sure that I pass on her love as well.
After the passing of the two original founders, Rich DeVos and Jay Van Andel, their sons, took over the family business, and they continue as current co-chairs on the board of directors. They're public and Amway personalities, the way they're also being portrayed on Amway's own website. I would say they're defined as being the sons of great fathers, and they're there to continue the legacy of their fathers, and that is Amway. This public persona to be the child of a hero to the people who love the company, who are distributors in the company, I think is very, very obvious. Specifically in Young Living, for example, where there's this person cult of Gary Young, and I would say it is very, very similar here. The children and the grandchildren and the wives and the daughters and whoever it is, they're there because they are there to continue the legacy of those really inspirational people, and they hardly have a personality of their own. At least that is what I gather from Amway's own representation and from Amway's own presentation of the corporate side on social media and also in speeches, where specifically the parents, the founders, the idols of the companies are being mentioned a lot. According to Doug DeVos, the Amway vision is to help people live better lives. We make that vision a reality by offering people a business opportunity that allows them to succeed through their own hard work. Free enterprise is not just an American phenomenon. The entrepreneurial spirit exists in people all over the world. That is pretty much a repetition of what his father also said, what he wanted Amway to be, what he believed Amway was. This just shows that he wants to continue with the founder's values: freedom, hope, family, and reward. And I would say hope, because that's the most important thing or the most important driver in MLMs, and family, because the family continues to be in control of this MLM business. The second generation started to get jobs in Amway as well, and they took over when the founders died, so they were introduced into the business to continue that legacy. Let's take a look what Doug DeVos has to say, what is so special about Amway.
One of the aspects of your business that makes it a little bit distinctive is the multi-level direct marketing. Mm-hmm. What's that? How's it work?
The direct selling concept is basically two things. You earn money. Start with a business of your own, and you earn money by selling products and getting a retail margin. And then the magic of our business is your ability to develop a sales force that you can help develop, train, lead a sales force. You help them make money, and then there's commissions that flow to you for the work that you've done through your time, talent, and leadership. That by helping somebody else earn money, you are able to earn an income based on the products that they sell.
Yeah. You heard it from corporate yourself. I am sure that Amway is still only operating as an MLM because everything is legally totally sound and legally safe. Because this did not sound like red flags at all, like the definition of a pyramid scheme. No, not in Amway's case. That is completely different. Sure. Let's see what Steve Van Andel has to say, why, in his opinion, Amway is so successful.
I met with the mayor of Shanghai one time, and we were talking about Amway. And my goal whenever I met with these people, these leaders in the world, in fact, there were a lot of business leaders, but a lot of world leaders. I think in my year there, I met with 9 presidents of countries and talked to them about Amway.
Oops, that's embarrassing.
But my goal with the mayor of Shanghai, just like my goal with all of them, was to get them to say Amway at least 3 times. But with the mayor, we were talking about Amway, and he was asking me, why is it that Amway is so successful? Is it the products? Is it your manufacturing? What is it that makes Amway so successful? I said, it's one thing. Amway is successful because of people. Amway is successful because of the people in this room, in rooms like this, all over the world.
Great. That proves that Amway is not a cult. It shows that the company is still very well connected politically, economically. That is not very, very harmful for, in my opinion, a sketchy business model. So we're very sure now that this is not a pyramid scheme and everything is legally sound, that Amway doesn't operate as a cult. To me, Doug and Steve also don't necessarily have the greatest presentation skills, and they're just a sign that if you're not funny, but you run an international corporation that I personally would define as a cult, people will love you no matter what. They seem to be very muted personality-wise, let's say it like this. It would be more interesting to watch a piece of paper for 24 hours, but I guess you don't need to add any value if you're the son of. And you're running the company, and you're continuing the scam, and you're expanding the scam, and you're meeting up with politicians. At least that is what I read from this. I've never met these people in person. They could be the loveliest people on planet Earth, but from what the company themselves put out, I don't see that there is a whole lot of great inspirational entrepreneurial spirit with these people. They're running their parents' scam. That is kind of their job, I would assume. The values of Amway, among others, are family. That's what they stated on their own website. And they do promote heavily the 3rd generation on YouTube. Amway, to this very day, is still in family hands, in the DeVos and the Van Andel families' hands, as opposed to the distributors who claim to have family businesses. These people actually run an international corporation, but it is still in family hands. The Amway founders also always like to claim that the distributors also run their own businesses. And I mean, we know, and they very likely also know, that that is not true. They're just salespeople. They're independently contracted salespeople and not business owners for the most part, and they have no social or no medical benefits unless you have an actual business besides that. Some were able to make a great career for themselves, especially if you consider that they were able to join Amway decades ago and are still at the top and are still able to show up in the top distributor revenue lists that you might find online, but those are exceptions to the rules. And if they run those inspirational Amway organizations as well, then they very likely also run their own business. But if you join Amway, you join as an independently contracted salesperson and not as a business owner. And now the third Amway generation is included into the business as well. They're starting like their fathers or their in-laws with the identity of being the founder's child, the grandchild of, with the hope of continuing the Amway business while reaping the benefits of the independent distributors who work their butts off to barely make anything to Amway's own income disclosure statement, so that, among others, also this next generation of scammers, people can travel the world and play business while spreading false hope that their own distributors can make it big in Amway.
My name is Dalton DeVos. I'm Doug and Maria's son and Rich and Helen's grandson. I'm currently employed at Amway in the digital department. For as long as I can remember, I've always wanted to work at Amway. From 2015 through 2017, I got a boat and circumnavigated the world with a crew of 3. We traveled over 50,000 miles. We went to 30 different countries. We learned so much in that time. Because of those experiences, I was able to be confident that coming back to Amway was exactly what I wanted to do and where I wanted to be. Not just because of what my parents wanted me to do, not just because of what I felt pressured to do or what I felt like I should do, but because it's what I wanted to do deep down inside. All of the founders' fundamentals are my fundamentals, but I'd say that the one that sticks out to me the most is probably hope, because I think that family and your freedom and reward, all those things can be taken away from you. Hope is something that nobody can take away from you and something that you can inspire within others. And I think that that's what's so essential in the Amway business. I'd like for everyone to know that the family is here for the long run. And we may be the 3rd generation, but there's a 4th generation coming up. There's a 5th generation after that. We're going to be here for the long term. And we've never been more committed to this business than we are today. And I want everyone to know that we're in this together. We love you. We're going to be encouraging you throughout this entire way. And we're going to be supporting you in every way that we possibly can.
It must be nice to travel the world and to sail the world on your family's dime while the distributors are working for little to nothing. A couple of $100 as business owners per year is not able to sustain your living, but I guess it is sufficient still for the founders' families, not the founding fathers, but the founders' families of Amway, to continue to live a lavish lifestyle on the backs of their own distributors. Amway is kind of the mothership of MLM, the mothership of scams, in my opinion, when it comes to network marketing, but they're still able to this very day to operate legally as a multi-level marketing company. Amway seems to be politically still very well connected, which I'm sure doesn't harm the business, while their own distributors barely make anything except for the top people who were able to join very likely decades ago. They're making bank with thousands of people or tens of thousands of people in their downlines. MLMs are notorious for hidden expenses, and I would say Amway is no different there with their MAOs, with the Amway motivational organizations. You have a low starting cost of $79 to join Amway as a distributor. Then you will have to purchase products, join conventions, get totally not required business trainings you then have to pay for, though, from approved partners who may offer you value, added training and support in addition to what Amway offers. You can choose to take part in this training, but you aren't required to. Amway was one of the first MLMs that were actually able to make those side hustles a very, very profitable business with these training organizations from their top distributors. And the side hustles, in this case, many times are more lucrative for the top distributors than actually selling in Amway. So it's a scam in a scam that already originated decades and decades ago. It is called Amway. And if Amway is truly promoting the American way, then I want to be very clear, I don't want a piece of that. I also don't think that scamming other people is the American way, but interesting, very interesting. I also wasn't aware that Amway is actually short for American Way. Me doing research on these videos is something that is really cool for myself as well, because I do learn a lot. I have a lot of links in the description box down below if you want to take a look as well, and if you want to start with this video as kind of doing your own research. If somebody ever reaches out from any of these AMOs, take a look. Take a very close look. It might be somebody who is in Amway who actually just wants to recruit you for 70-something bucks into Amway, and then also to make bank off of you while teaching you nonsensical motivational trainings that you should receive for joining the company for free. It's not free, but it should be included in your starter pack in Amway, in my opinion. Most people in Amway don't make a lot of money, they will end up in debt. So in that case, Amway might be one of the first scams, in my opinion, but they're not the most successful when it comes to the distributors. The top people make a lot of money, but the majority of people make barely anything, and they will end up in debt, as do most people who are in multi-level marketing companies across the board. This was like a mini deep dive into MLM and a surface look at the founding families, the DeVos and the Van Andel families. So if you ever run across any of these, like I said, run for the hills. They might be nice people, but in my opinion, they're running an international scam. That's called Amway. It is time to say farewell from Berlin on Easter Sunday. I will film another video today because I don't have a lot of videos in petto. So if I sound nasally in the next video, you know what's going on. You already know it. I'm still having a massive cold. And I'm trying to get over that hopefully until the next weekend, because then I do plan to film a bunch of videos more, among those also more corporate videos, which I do truly enjoy filming and also researching. So hopefully next weekend things will be better over here. I hope you did like this video. If you did, please subscribe, like, comment, and if you like these types of videos, then hopefully I will see you in my next one. Until then, cheers!